So in Senegal, we met up with my good friend Ibrahim. We were interested in the issue of plastic pollution and how that might be impacting on the wetlands. There is a particular rubbish dump there that is unregulated and has slowly encroached onto a vast wetland. So we went there expecting to find an issue of, well, a wetland destroyed and of no use anymore for migratory birds. And what we instead found was quite surprising. So we've been out trying to find this big, supposedly informal rubbish dump on the outskirts of Dakar, and we've ended up driving through small streets and found quite an incredible view of this vast mountain behind me. That is the rubbish dump that is built up in pretty much in the middle of this lake. This wetland is kind of shallow here with lots of water plants, so actually it's a perfect nursery for small fish, and I haven't seen this many birds and wildlife in many wetlands in this whole journey. So somehow it seems that having a big rubbish dump, not completely consuming the wetland but very close, and it's an informal one, so there isn't really big machinery there, has made, potentially protected, a bit of a paradise for birds from what would otherwise be a bigger development, because it is a totally stunning area. Not only that, just as a load of ladies came over to say, we saw an osprey on the side of your vehicle, and ospreys, there's loads of ospreys over there. Right behind me, I saw an osprey dive, catch a fish, and then sit up on a low wall eating it.
Quand Sacha l'a aperçu, elle a dit, voici un balbuzard là-bas. Je pensais que c'était juste Sacha qui voyait des balbuzards partout. Alors que c'était une réalité, il était là, le balbuzard, en train de pêcher. Et d'après les dires de ces dames qu'on a rencontrées autour de ces zones, ces balbuzards-là, il y en avait beaucoup qui passent dans cet espace et qui sont très fréquents dans cette zone. Donc voici encore une surprise de la nature. Donc la nature n'a pas arrêté de nous surprendre. Donc à nous maintenant vraiment de faire les efforts nécessaires pour être en harmonie avec cette nature, avec ces oiseaux, avec ces zones humides.
So, yeah, a pretty impressive place, and a story that's more complicated than the one we thought we were coming to gather. And then we caught up with Jean-Marie, who surveys the ospreys in Senegal, but is also busy training lots of the eco-guards to do that in their local areas. And we discussed with him some potential new theories about whether or not the juvenile ospreys coming from the UK, from Europe, do actually migrate completely alone. He's found some unusual patterns in the distribution of different birds that are leading him to think that they might actually be following adult ospreys, but from a distance.
On se rencontre avec le nombre de balbuzards comptés et le nombre de bagues identifiées aujourd'hui, puisque pour cette année, par exemple, je suis à 206 balbuzards identifiés, que la répartition géographique des balbuzards au Sénégal est pratiquement nationale. Il y a des zones à balbuzards anglais, écossais, il y a des zones à balbuzards allemands, des zones à balbuzards finlandais, norvégiens et des zones à balbuzards français. Par les observateurs dans le sud de la France qui, eux, voient passer des balbuzards, appellent ça des journées à balbuzards, et donc voient passer des oiseaux en trajet migratoire nord-sud tous les 1 ou 2 kilomètres les uns derrière les autres. Et donc on se dit qu'effectivement un oiseau comme ça est capable de voir un autre oiseau à 1 kilomètre devant, et il peut le suivre s'il est moins expérimenté et se retrouver au même endroit à l'arrivée, quoi.
So we've made it to northern Mauritania, and here we are at the north end of the vast inlet known as the Banc d'Arguin. It is an enormous area of seagrass, very shallow water, great for fishing, and for any of the migratory birds that are coming down in this direction. They're either coming here or they're stopping off here on their way further south. Behind me is the inlet, in that direction is the sea, and as far as you can see in the other direction is the desert. And that's why it is incredibly windy a lot of the time.
And the Banc d'Arguin was incredible. We saw loads of juvenile ospreys there. This site is really important. There's a vast shallow area which is ideal for fishing, and there are restrictions in the whole area, so there's no fishing allowed with motorboats, and we didn't see any motorboats there at all. What we did unfortunately find is that when you walk along the shores, there's loads of seagrass that's washed up. That's kind of part of the natural system, but amongst it is a huge amount of plastic and plastic waste, but also dead turtles. And of a 300-meter transect we ran, 7 dead turtles were found there, and all of them that we could identify were missing a fin, and one of them was actually just a fin, the fin of what would have been quite a young turtle. So a beautiful sight, still incredible, one of the most important on the flyway for migrating birds and for the ospreys. But yeah, there are issues there with interacting with fishing.